Hello Sagittarius, Ashley here. We're going to do your reading for the week of March 14th. Now I have to say that the Aries and Leo readings were kind of intense. Lots of information channeling through today. So we're going to see what goes on for you and see if the theme continues. I do feel like you're cutting out some crap here. Look at this. You got two 28s. 28, 28. So that could be a number that you're seeing. Those reduced to 10s. So there's some things clearing out here for sure. And I do feel like you're kind of maybe a little bit astounded by these changes. The building blocks card, now this is for last week's energy. It talks about using really solid bricks for our foundation, for what we're creating here, right? And if there's a brick or a piece to your foundation that is not strong enough, it could lead to an unstable foundation. So this talks about getting rid of, those bricks that are crumbling, right? And then we have Frog Spirit for this week, and it says clear out the clutter. So it's like we're getting rid of things. This could be even some early spring cleaning that you're doing, right? Just cleaning up your environment, cleaning up your relationships. And with this indigo color here, I do feel like this has all been in hopes of the future, in hopes of a brighter future, in hopes of just improvements here. So this could be in you could be cleaning up your diet. You could be cleaning up people out of your life, right? People that just don't fit anymore. They just don't fit. This could be a number of things, right? So just take it as it resonates. We're going to get the tarot out here and clarify and see what we get. But I have to warn you, like I said, I've been getting a ton of information coming through so far for the fire signs. Now it could be because it's just your week to have some intense downloads, right? It could just be my own astrology, right? We've just had that Pisces new moon not too long ago. There's been a lot of shifts and changes in the astrology, and so we're just going to see what we get here. Hard telling where it's coming from. All right, 28, 28. Interesting. 2s and 8s. So that's also talking about doing a lot of self-work, right? Those 8s, that's a lot of working on yourself. And then 2s is balance. It's finding balanced connections, relationships. Even if it's how you relate to an environment, right? It doesn't have to be a person. All right, Sag. We have the 2 of Wands. Crossroads energy, the Magician, the King of Wands. So that can certainly be your energy here. Now in this deck, it looks like Leo, but typically for me, the King of Wands is Sagittarius. We have the 6 of Cups. We also have the Beyond card. So this talks about your higher self. And it looks to me like you're starting to manifest from a higher perspective here. It's like you're really taking your internal guidance system and using that to manifest from, to create from. We have the Page of Swords, the 6 of Wands, the 2 of Swords. Definitely some choices here. It's like you're really trying to pick and choose what goes and what stays. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Definitely some clarity coming in. Could be dealing with an air sign as well. We also have a little bit of water and then some Gemini Virgo here with the Magician. interesting. Definitely looking at some past relationships here, deciding what stays and what goes. Could be at a sort of a fork in the road where you're trying to decide who's going forward with me. As I am trying to create this new foundation, this new, it's like you want to take this foundation and build upon it, creating from something that you're being guided to create from here, your higher self, your soul self, right? And maybe having a little bit of difficulty getting rid of the things that no longer fit with this new plan, right? So as you evolve and change, obviously not everyone else is going to evolve right along with you and follow you. Unfortunately, right? We have the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, the Unknown. So this is all about your divine connection and faith, just being open to the possibilities. The Moon, tons of intuition coming in here. We also have the Lovers. It could very well be that you are in a position of being single, some of you. Really just trying to step into that independent energy, whether you're in a relationship or not. So it's kind of like this, I want to be able to take care of myself no matter what happens. So it's not relying upon someone else. It's relying upon yourself. And then other people being in your life is like the cherry on top, right? But again, though, we have the Hawk here. So there's still a lot of deep intuitive connection here. It could be that for some of you, you've kind of been following this path. You've kind of been following this path of independence, cutting things out of your life that no longer fit. And yet, you might be feeling like, am I ever going to meet someone here? So I do feel some of that here as well. We've got the Knight of Wands here, though. So there's definitely some sort of passion showing up in your life. This could be in the form of another person. We're going to find out. All right, so last week, building blocks. It's kind of interesting. It almost looks like she's kind of looking out into the future here, wondering what stays and goes. She's got all these different colored blocks here. And what's interesting is that she also appears to be made out of blocks. So it's kind of like you're not only revamping your own experience, whether that's work or home or what you do every day, but because you're changing your foundation here, you're also changing you, right? How people see you, how you see the world is changing. There's been some evolution here, and so inevitably some of these blocks no longer fit the mold, right? So, but it's also this energy as well, is that if you've already been doing the clean out, the clearing out, right? Being very careful who and what you allow back in to your space, even if this is new people, right? Because it's like you set the precedent for what's acceptable. We have the Two of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Six of Wands. So definitely, it's like people are noticing that you've changed as well, is what I feel there. Definitely maybe some reminiscing of the past. I do feel like that's showing up here strongly in this past week. Came through in a couple of my readings elsewhere. There's a lot of just like the good old days kind of reminiscing going on. Let's see what's going on here. We're definitely making progress with that Two of Wands. Something is expanding. Let's see what. We have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, walking away from that which is no longer serving you. because you got a big future ahead of you. So definitely looking forward here. It's like, what is allowing me to expand? What's allowing me to go from the Two of Wands to the Three of Wands and on, right? Because the next thing you're after is the Four of Wands. With all this manifestation energy, you want your manifestation to show up. So if it's not contributing, you're walking away from it, or you're cutting it out, right? So I do feel like there's been a lot of decisions this past week of what stays and what goes. With the Six of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords again. So cutting out old relationships here that no longer fit. Yep. Ready for the new. And there's a sacrifice energy here. So it's not like you're cutting people out and you're like, haha, see ya. Right? I mean, some of them might be the case. But you're having to cut out old relationships, and there's maybe a little bit of sting associated with that. There's some pain of having to say goodbye, right? When we get the Ace of Swords, especially with the Queen of Swords, she's using that sword to cut something, but it's a double-edged sword. There's a sacrifice here. It's like, in order to move forward, we have to cut out something from the past. We have to make room, right? We got to make room for that manifestation that's coming in, and that's not always a pleasant experience. Especially when it's the Six of Cups. This is something that's been around for some time. You're connected to it. There's memories here. So this can be people, friendships, lovers, whatever. Even places. Like if you've decided to move, you know, kind of letting go of what that place means to you and walking away is not easy. With the Six of Wands, we have the World. So you've definitely had some evolution here. You've completed a cycle. And again, people are noticing that you've changed. We also have the Moon here. There's some, what I want to say with this Moon here, you can see that we have a dog and a wolf here. And it's kind of like you're trying to embody both of those energies. You're independent. You're able to go after something with courage. At the same time, you're loyal and you know what feels good. There's a sense of home here. And so again, there's this connection to what feels safe, what feels known, right? And so kind of stepping out of this comfort zone into the future is not easy. I also feel like, again, we're seeing a lot of intuitive energy here, specifically with the Moon and this Indigo card that's coming up for next week, which we will talk about. But there's something pulling you forward. Now, there could certainly be some fears here. We're having to make some choices about what to cut out. And it could feel like it's clarifying the Moon there. We get the Hanged Man. Perhaps you're recognizing how maybe you stayed in a situation longer than needed because of fears of having to let it go, right? Like, am I going to be successful if I make all these changes? Or will I get to the end of this and suddenly realize, oh, I made a big mistake. I cut out all these people, I made all these changes, and it was a mistake. So that's a fear that's showing up here. Looks normal to me. A lot of major arcana in this particular spot here. So definitely a lot of evolutionary shifts. And again, I feel like people are seeing you differently. They're starting to see another side of you that maybe hasn't been revealed before. And I actually feel like it's in a positive way. Like you might have some folks around you that are actually kind of envious of this new independent and kind of courageous energy that you're showing to people. You're making all these changes and making all these moves, and they're kind of like, whoa, look at Sagittarius making all these changes. And there could be a little bit of envy here. I think you're definitely opening some people's eyes as well. So this week we have the frog spirit. It says clear out the clutter. I was just noticing the design on this frog. It's almost like he's got a line of a bunch of different chakra centers down his back here. But again, he's holding on to this little orb, this little blue orb. So I do feel like, again, there's a lot of intuitive guidance here. We've got the Magician, the Soul Self, and the Two of Swords. Let's clarify and see what's going on for this week. It feels kind of like more of what you were doing last week to me. There's some heavy manifestation here. You're really trying to follow your instincts. The Magician. We have the Ten of Swords. Closing things out. Yeah. Now, you could certainly be putting an end to something with a Virgo or Gemini here. For some of you, and I don't feel this very strongly, so it could only be a couple. For some of you, this past dynamic, it's like you're making these changes happen. If this was a soulmate relationship, it could be that this person was just a little controlling, and you're like, done and done, right? With the Soul card, we have the Five of Cups. Again, like I said, these changes are not easy changes. It's not like no big deal, right? And then here you are as well, again, the King of Wands. So I do feel like you're having some hard times letting go of the things that you know need to go. With the Two of Swords, could be doing a little overthinking here, really trying to tap into what your higher self is asking you to do. And because what it's asking you to do is cut people out, you're like, oh, is that really what it wants me to do? And so then you kind of like try and think about it some more. We also have the Two of Cups here. So again, strong Virgo. Somebody here is releasing a Virgo. Take that as it resonates. It does look like a choice we haven't wanted to make, and it's happening. Now for some of you, this other person has put an end to it, and you're just feeling kind of down and out about that. But for most of you, I feel like you're the one clearing out the clutter here. Now, but not without some pain and regret here. If you are dealing with a Gemini or a Virgo here, we do have the Queen of Swords here, right? It could be that for some of you, that person is releasing you and you're kind of experiencing the pain of that. All right, next week we have Indigo. It says mystery and mastery of life. So there's this kind of like looking to the future, looking at healing as well. You can see she's staring up at the star. It can also be like this energy of, you know, there being a little bit of curiosity or reverence, I want to say, at the way things happen, right? Sometimes we're just like, we never saw this coming. And so it's like, wow. Even if it's difficult, it can kind of strike you in such a way that's like, wow, I'm really not completely in control of everything. It really kind of brings to light this energy that there's more going on, right, than just what you want. The universe is involved here, and we've definitely got that higher self showing up here. So let's see. We got the King of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the Queen of Swords again. So what's this about? King of Wands. We have that intuition showing up here again. Definitely some, again, fears of following the intuition showing up for you, Sagittarius. With the Page of Swords, you're like, is it going to work out? Again, same message. kind of stewing in the same energy throughout these few weeks in March. And the Five of Wands. Not really sure about if where we're going is going to be the right decision or not. So even if this means cutting out a relationship for you, is this the right choice? So whatever changes it is that you're making, there's some hesitation here because there's like this fear. I'm overthinking this. Somebody is definitely dealing with a soulmate connection here, and that's what's causing so much struggle because it is such a strong connection. With the Queen of Swords, we have the Ace of Cups, and the Nine of Wands. So for some of you, this air sign or Virgo that you're dealing with, somebody that's very straight up, blunt, I want to say. They're not, they've got their guard up here. And even though it may seem like, so for some of you, I feel like, just randomly, of course, showing up right here at the end of the reading, some of you have been trying to make this work with this person. And no matter what you did, you were coming up against a brick wall, and you're just at wonder at how you're being steered in a different direction by the universe, and it could feel like some things have been out of your control. So if you're dealing with another person here, it could be that you've decided on what your future needs to look like for yourself, right? And they're just not going in that same direction. And no matter what you do or what you present them with or how you might try and compromise, it's like the universe is cutting them out. Like nothing you give them is satisfactory, right? So you can almost feel like that's that energy, this mystery and mastery of life. It's like this, wow, no matter what I do, it's not working. So you can feel like other forces are coming in and preventing you from reconnecting with this person of the past. And it does have you a little stressed. It's got you a little worried about trusting that intuition that's saying, move forward, new beginning, new foundation, time to clear this out. So there's a little resistance here. It does look to me like your future past this there is victory. But I do feel like what's showing up strongly for you is just really thinking about this, like maybe not fully trusting that victory is coming. So I do feel like the two of you keep an eye on each other. For those of you that care, it does look like there's maybe some mutual curiosity here. It's like you're coming up against a brick wall if you're dealing with this person in particular. This Gemini, Virgo person. Alright. I hope that was helpful, Sagittarius. That's what I'm getting. I will see you in the next one. Hang in there. I feel like you're headed in some very strong evolution for yourself here. It's just that not everyone is willing to play along and tag along, is what it feels like to me. I'll see you next time. Bye.